Picture this. I'm standing in my kitchen at dusk. The faint hum of crickets slipping through the cracked window. A half-empty coffee mug in my hand. Staring at the same chipped tile on the counter I've meant to fix for months. My name's Robert. I'm 34, and this quiet suburban corner of Ohio is where I've built my life. It's not a loud life, not a flashy one, just steady, like the tick of a clock you stop noticing after a while. I've been married to Emily. For 8 years now. She's 32, a graphic designer who turns our spare room into her creative haven. Sketches and color swatches scattered like confetti. Her smile used to be this unstoppable force, bright enough to pull me out of any bad day. But lately, it's like a flickering bulb there 1 second, gone the next. We don't have kids, though the ideas drifted into our conversations now and then. Like a leaf caught in the wind, never quite landing. I'm a sales manager at a local hardware company. A job that pays the bills and keeps me on the road or in meetings. But let's be honest, it's not the kind of thing that sets your soul on fire. Emily and I, though, we used to be wildfire. I can still feel those early days weekend drives with no destination. Just her hand in mine, the radio blaring some forgotten tune. Late nights on the couch, talking about everything from constellations to the weirdest dreams we'd had. Spontaneous moments where we'd sneak away, lost in each other. Tangled up in ways I'll let your imagination paint. Let's just say the world melted away. I woke up that Saturday morning with a restless buzz in my chest, like I'd had one too many cups of coffee before even rolling out of bed. Lying there, staring at the ceiling fan spinning lazy circles, I knew I couldn't just let the days slip by like so many others. I needed something different, something to shake up the quiet routine that had settled over Emily and me like dust. So I grabbed my phone off the nightstand and started texting and calling the guys my closest friends. The crew I've been tight with since high school and college days. There's 12 of us in total, a rowdy bunch who've always been down for a good time, no questions asked. I think of Jake first, our resident loudmouth mechanic who can't help but crack a joke every 5 seconds. Even if it's a terrible one. Then there's Travis, the quiet accountant whose dry wit sneaks up on you like a shadow. And of course Mike, the gym buff who's never far from a protein shake, always flexing whether he means to or not. I pitched them on a casual backyard hangout at my place, nothing fancy. Just a spontaneous bro day to grill some burgers and crack open a few beers. I kept it vague, no big reason behind it, just an itch to get everyone together. They were. All in, their enthusiasm buzzing through the phone with quick replies and shoutouts. That got me moving. I spent the afternoon hauling out folding chairs from the shed, their metal legs scraping against the concrete as I set them up in a haphazard circle. I fired up the old charcoal grill, the familiar smell of smoke curling into the air, and dug. Out some cheap. The backyard is alive with energy, the kind of chaotic warmth I hadn't felt in ages. Classic rock anthems blast from a Bluetooth speaker perched on the picnic table. The gritty vocals of some old backyard hangout through the evening air. Nothing fancy. Laughter and shouts just bounce around as my buddies to grill some burgers and flip burgers open a few beers. The sizzle mixing with the smoky scent big reason that hangs over everything. Just an itch to get everyone together. In a lawn chair. They were metal pressing into my back. Their enthusiasm buzzing through the phone with quick replies and shoutouts. My eyes keep drifting to Emily, who's had a couple of spent the afternoon hauling out folding chairs in the middle of an impromptu dance their metal legs near the scraping against the concrete. Her laughter rings out in a haphazard circle. As she fired up the old charcoal grill, her familiar smell of smoke curling into the air of the day, and dug. It's a sight that should warm me, the backyard is alive with energy. Catches my attention. The kind of chaotic warmth that twists I hadn't felt in ages. Chest like a knot. Classic rock. I notice her gaze blast from lingering on Jake and Travis on the picnic dance near her. The gritty vocals of the casual band cutting through the evening air. Heavier. Laughter and shouts. When Jake grabs her hand as my playful toss a frisbee and flip burgers on the grill. A quiet glow in them. The sizzle I haven't seen aimed at me in what hangs over everything. I'm slouched in a lawn chair, close, the cool metal pressing into my back. Over the thumping music beer bottle, and a faint blush creeps up her cheeks. Her lips curving and drifting to Emily, almost shy, who's had a couple of it's a look of longing and is now in the middle of an impromptu dance right in the gut near the patio, like a sucker punch. Her laughter rings out sharp and bright. Instead of the as she spins and sways with the group, I expect her sundress there's something else, a golden light mix of the curiosity. It's a sight that should warm me, but something under my catches my attention. My heart starts pounding, twists in my chest drumbeat like a knot. As an idea forms. I notice her gaze lingering on Jake and Travis as they set my beer down. The glass clinking against a casual glance, and push myself up heavier. My legs feel unsteady. When Jake grabs her hand, I make my way over to Jake and Travis, her eyes pulling them aside. A quiet glow near the edge of the yard where the music isn't so loud. Feels like forever. My voice drops low. Travis leans almost in close, a whisper, as I ask if they'd be willing to get closer. Over the thumping music, and a faint blush creeps up her cheeks. I'm standing there, curving in a way to the spot near the edge of the patio. It's a look of longing, shallow as I watch Emily hits me hard, Jake right in the gut. The backyard still buzzing with the energy of the evening, but instead of the music thumping in the background, sting of jealousy, but my focus is razor sharp on the three of them. Strange mix of curiosity. My mind's a storm of emotions. Maybe even there's a thrill, this heat buzzing this under undeniable pull of fascination. My heart starts pounding, mixed with a cold attachment, like I'm watching a movie unfold instead of my own life. I set my beer down. There's this glass clinking against the armrest, like I'm pushing myself one holding the strings. My legs feel unsteady this moment, but I make my way over to Jake and Travis, pulling them aside. I catch near the edge of the yard where the music isn't scattered around the yard. My voice drops low, flickering in their eyes, a whisper, as they notice I ask if they'd be willing to get closer to Emily real close. They're wondering what's going on, and that I'm standing fuels the restless energy spot near the edge of the patio. I make a decision shallow as I watch Emily as I step away from the shadows. The backyard still buzzing with the energy of the evening. My boots crunch on the grass, thumping in the background, deliberate. But my focus is razor sharp on the three of the grill. My mind's a storm of emotions, almost conspiratorial. This undeniable pull and explain what's happening over by the patio, mixed with a cold attachment, with my words, I'm watching gauging their reactions as I invite them to join us if they're up for it. And yet, they're comfortable crossing into this uncharted territory. I make a decision. Mike lets out an awkward chuckle, step away rubbing from the back of his neck, and walk clearly unsure of how to process this. My boots crunch on the grass. A couple of the others exchange hesitant looks as I approach the cluster of guys as they weigh the situation. I keep my voice low after a beat of silence, conspiratorial. Their expressions shifting and explain what's happening over by the patio. They follow me back toward Emily, gauging their reactions their footsteps, as I invite them to join us if they're behind mine. They're comfortable crossing into this uncharted territory. I approach her again, out an awkward chuckle, my heart thudding in my chest as I stand unsure how to process my voice steady but soft. A couple of the others murmur against the distant hum of music, their brows furrowing. I ask if she's okay with more people joining in, but most of them, if she's after a beat of silence with where this is heading, their expressions shifting to something mine for a fleeting second. They follow me back toward Emily before darting to the men now lingering nearby behind mine. Their presence, the air thickened with unspoken questions. Emily nods slowly. I approach her again, a small, almost imperceptible in my chest as I stand close. But it's enough. My voice my chest tightens as I step back. Almost a murmur against the spiraling hum of something I can't fully grasp. I ask if she's okay with more people joining in, camcorder from the patio table, still feeling all right, the one where this is record. Her eyes, silly home mine for a fleeting second, on with a shaky hand and searching. The little red light before darting to the men now lingering nearby, a few feet away. Their presence a quiet weight, the lens in the becoming my shield. Emily nods way of slowly, staying in control, small, while everything else feels like it's slipping, but it's enough. My chest tightens as I step back, strung across the backyard, spiraling into something. The scene unfolds in a way that's both surreal. I grab the old camcorder from the patio table. Emily stands at the center, surrounded by the 12 men I've called my brothers, and flip it on with a shaky hand. Their figures casting red light blinks to life on the grass, and I position myself a few feet away. There's a shift in her. A kind of wild abandon I haven't witnessed in so long, my way of staying in control while everything else, a skin I didn't even know she wore under. Her sundress, the soft glow of fairy light strung across the backyard, the pale fabric, the scene unfolds in a way that's both surreal and almost otherworldly. Her face stands at the center, her face is surrounded by the 12 men bright with a fire that's been for years. Her lips parted in a way casting long shadows on the grass. Go. The air hums a shift with low murmurs, a kind of wild abandon I haven't witnessed in so long, crickets, like she's shedding, creating a strange symphony I didn't even know she wore. Her
I adjust the zoom on the
slightly
camcorder,
off one shoulder,
my fingers trembling just a bit
fabric
as I
catching
capture
the light
every angle,
as she moves with a grace
every
that
fleeting
feels
expression.
almost otherworldly.
I'm not just watching, I'm
face
documenting.
Her face is
preserving
alive,
this
her
moment
eyes
that's
bright with a
tearing
fire
through the
that's been
boundaries
dormant
of everything.
Her lips parted
I
in a
thought
way
I knew
that
about
speaks
us.
of freedom.
There's
of
a part of
letting
me
go.
that feels like a
The air
conductor,
hums with low
orchestrating
murmurs,
a scene
the rustle
that's
of
both
movement
forbidden
blending with
and
the strangely
chirp
beautiful
of
crickets. My heart's
creating
a mess of
strange
contradictions
symphony
that roots me
There's
to the
this
spot.
hollow ache, a cavern in my chest, where I realize how far I've drifted from her, how I'm on the outside of this joy she's feeling. But there's also a perverse kind of happiness, seeing her come alive like this, even if I'm not the reason. And the days after that night felt like walking through a fog, heavy and disorienting. I'd catch myself staring out the kitchen window, the same chipped tile on the counter mocking me as I replayed everything in my mind. Emily and I barely spoke
the
at
zoom
first,
on the
an
camcorder,
awkward silence,
my fingers
between
trembling
us like
just
a
a
curtain.
bit
We
as I
didn't know
captured
how to
every
pull
angle,
back.
every
We'd pass
fleeting
each other in the
expression.
hallway. Her eyes
I'm not
darting
just
away,
watching, I'm documenting,
mine lingering too
preserving
long.
this moment.
Both of
that's
us
tearing through
unsure
the
how to
boundaries
bridge the
of
gap
everything
that night had carved.
I thought I knew about us.
It wasn't anger
There's
or
a part
regret.
of me that feels
exactly
like a conductor,
just this unspoken
orchestrating
weight,
a scene,
a
that's
question
both forbidden
neither of us dared,
and strangely beautiful.
To ask out loud
My
a week
heart's
later,
a mess
I
of
couldn't stand
contradictions.
the quiet anymore.
There's this hollow ache.
I found myself
a
in the
cavern
living
my
room
chest
on a
where
still evening.
I realize how
the
far
crickets
I've
humming
drifted from
outside,
her,
digging
how I'm
out
on the
that old
outside of this
camcorder
joy
from a
she's
drawer.
feeling. I
But
set
there's
it up on
also
a
a
tripod,
perverse kind
a
of
little
happiness,
device,
looking out
seeing
of
her
place
come
among
alive
our
like
mundane
this,
clutter of
even if
books
I'm
and
not the
throw
reason.
pillows. And the
I
days
called out
after
to
that
Emily,
night, my
felt
voice
like walking
softer
through
than
a
I meant
fog,
it to be, heavy and
asking
disorienting.
if she wanted to watch the
I'd
footage
catch
with me.
myself staring out the kitchen.
She was in the kitchen,
rinsing
window,
a
the
mug,
same chipped tile
and I
on the
saw her
counter,
freeze
mocking
for a
me
moment
as I
her
replayed
shoulders
everything in my
tensing.
mind. There was a long
Emily and
pause
I
before
barely
she
spoke
turned.
at first.
Her expression,
an awkward
a
silence
mix of
hanging
reluctance
between us
and
like a
something
curtain
else,
we
maybe
didn't know how to
curiosity.
pull back.
She dried
We'd
her
pass
hands
each other in the
slowly,
hallway,
then
her
nodded,
eyes darting
joining
away,
me on the couch,
mine lingering
sitting
too
just
long,
close enough that
both
I could
of us
feel the warmth
unsure
of her.
how to bridge the gap
arm
that
near
night
mine,
had
but
carved.
not touching.
It wasn't
I pressed
anger
play,
or regret,
and the grainy footage
exactly
flickered
just
to
this
life
unspoken
on our
weight.
ancient TV.
A question
The
neither of
fairy
us dared.
lights from that night
To
casting
ask
a
out
soft
loud a
glow
week later,
across the
I
screen.
couldn't stand the quiet
At
anymore.
first, we sat rigid.
I found myself in the
The air
living room
between
on a
us thick
still
with
evening,
tension
as we watched
crickets
those
humming
moments
outside,
unfold, again
the
the
way
way
she
she
moved
moved
under
under
the
the
lights
lights from a drawer.
The energy of the
I set
group
it up on
around
a
her,
tripod.
the
little
unspoken
device
boundaries
looking out of
melting
place
away
among
in a
our
dance
mundane
of
clutter
shadows
of
and
books
whispers
and throw pillows.
I could feel
I
my
called
pulse
out to
quicken,
Emily, my
not from
voice
the images
softer than I meant it
themselves,
to be,
but from the memory
asking
of holding
if she
that
wanted to
lens,
watch
of
the
being
footage with
both
me.
part of it and apart
She was
from
in the
it.
kitchen, rinsing
Emily's
a mug,
breath hitched
and I saw
once or
her
twice,
freeze for a
her
moment,
fingers twisting
her
in the hem of
shoulders
her
tensing.
shirt. But she
There was a
didn't
long
look away
pause before she turned,
and then
her expression
something
a mix
shifted
of
and
reluctance
forget to
and
subscribe.
something else, maybe
Like
curiosity.
and comment if
She
you
dried
enjoyed
her
this
hands
story.
slowly, then
This
nodded,
will help us create
joining
more
me on the
engaging
couch,
stories for you.